So for the past 5 weeks, I've been reading Walker Connor book, Ethnonationalism, The Quest for Understanding. This book is so hot, it is too smoking hot for my main channel, so I've had to delve into this book, into its turgid inner mysteries on my backup channel, Luke Ford Livestreams 18. But I just thought I'd share just a saucy taste with you of Walker Connor. I think we're on the penultimate chapter here, so we're on page 203. I want you to strap in, right? No, we're on 204. Okay, we're talking about nationalism. It can be at least obliquely analyzed by examining the type of catalyst to which it responds. That is to say, by examining the proven techniques for reaching and triggering national responses. And how was the non-rational core of the nation being reached and triggered? No, come back. Okay, we're talking about triggering the non-rational core of the nation. How is it reached and triggered? Well, I'll tell you how. He laid his hand on her shoulder.
Oh, nailed it!
And softly and gently, he began to travel down the curve of her back, blindly, with a blind stroking motion to the curve of her crouching loins. And there his hand softly, softly stroked the curve of her flank in the blind, instinctive caress. Right? That's how you trigger nationalism. All right? All right? That's how you stimulate it. All right? You want a catalyst? Okay, that's the catalyst, mate. All right? We're talking about triggering the non-rational core of the nation. How do you reach that and trigger it? Well, when the nation arches its back to receive you, go softly, gently, and then not so softly and not so gently. As we have seen in the case of numerous successful national leaders, not through appeals to reason, but through appeals to the emotions. Appeals not to the mind, but to the blood. That's how Walker Connor, Texas Ranger, pulled it off before he became a political science professor.
It has been nailed.
All right? So the nation was in the bed in a treece, embracing her feverishly and snatching her gown at once up to her shoulders. Oh, you do need me so, the close-eyed national girl murmured, as yet not feeling much of anything except the certainty of having to fit this abstraction to the case. All right? That's how you trigger nationalism. Is everyone with me here? Okay. We're talking about the non-rational core of the nation has been reached and triggered through national symbols as historically varied as the rising sun, the swastika, and Britannia. Such symbols can speak messages without words to members of the nation because, as one author has noted, there is something about such symbols, especially visual ones, which reach the parts rational explanations cannot reach.
Nailed it.
All right? He wants to remain within her, to lie blind in the folds of her flesh. On what wings does she take flight? As if the sensual act had been but a mouth applied to an opium pipe. All right, this is how you trigger national identification. No homo. The non-rational core has been reached and triggered through nationalist poetry because the poet is far more adept than the writer of learned tracts at expressing deeply felt emotion. All right? That's what we're talking about here. It is then the character of appeals made through and to the senses, not through and to reason, which permit us some knowledge of the subconscious convictions that people tend to harbor concerning the nation. Spread-eagled on the floor, the nation's gown hitched up above her thighs, she taunted him between giggles. Come on. Right? That's what national appeal is all about. If I closed my eyes, I could still feel her lips on mine. Even now, it gave me a shudder. Now, not tonight. On my mouth, Ralph. Kiss my mouth as if we were lovers. Mary, I'm a priest. I can't. Right? It's that kind of sublimated passion that best explains ethnonationalism, the quest for understanding. The near universality with which certain images and phrases appear, blood, family, brothers, sisters, mothers, forefathers, ancestors, home, and the proven success of such invocations in eliciting massive popular responses tell us much about the nature of national identity, but again, this line of research does not provide a rational explanation for it.
Yeah, baby, nailed it.
Yeah, so we've got some... okay, this is Walker Connor in action here.
You Zionist pig. You occupying fuck. Occupy this.
I'm an occupier.
Yeah. I'm going to fuck the Jew out of you. Yeah.
That's not so easy.
You want to fuck me like Israel fucked my country?
Which reminds me of what something Theodore Herzl once said.
Shalom, LD.
Fuck me, you Jew bastard! Fuck me like Israel fucked my people! Show me the promised land, huh? Lame son of that.
Keep my father out of it.
Huh? You circus-sized fuck.
Oh! We seek him here, we seek him there. Those Frenchies seek him everywhere. Is he in heaven? Is he in hell? That damned elusive Pimpernel.
Okay, see, this is national passion, exemplified there. 19th century author Adolf Stoker expanded on this sentiment. German blood flows in every German body, and the soul is in the blood. Okay. Rational would-be explanations have abounded. Relative economic deprivation, elite ambitions, rational choice theory, intense transaction flows, the desire of the intelligentsia to convert a low subordinate culture into a high dominant one, cost-benefit considerations, internal colonialism, employ the bourgeoisie to undermine the class consciousness of the proletariat by obscuring the conflicting class interests within each nation, by encouraging rivalry among the proletariat of various nations, somewhat spontaneous mass response to competition for scarce resources. Her teeth were clenched, and he ground them the way people do during sleep. From his voice there came a gurgling whine whose tone rose higher and higher with each frenzied thrust. Even after his obvious violent climax, his countenance had not changed. His teeth were still clenched, his eyes still fixed on the wall, and he continued to pump madly. Why are these things hanging from my hat? Just keep the flies off, mate. How do you keep the flies off? All right. See, all such theories can be criticized on empirical grounds, but they can be faulted principally for their failure to reflect the emotional depth of national identity, the passions at either extreme end of the hate-love continuum which the nation often inspires, and the countless fanatical sacrifices which have been made in its names. As Chateaubriand expressed it nearly 200 years ago, men don't allow themselves to be killed for their interests, they allow themselves to be killed for their passions. People do not voluntarily die for things that are rational. Okay? So nationalism no longer lifted us up and outside of time, but sent us streaming back and forth into our own beginnings and toward the shrouded marker of someone's future. Walker Connor, Texas Ranger. Word.